Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from the channel Redolescence, and thank you so much for tuning in. And in today's episode, we're going to be going over my top 10 favorite fall fragrances, so keep it right there. Now, when it comes to the fall season, I especially wear fragrances that are woodier, spicier, sweeter, heavier. Summer is a great time for fragrances, especially when you want to break out the more citrus-based fragrances, but unfortunately all good things must come to an end. But I especially have been enjoying the fall, especially as of late because I live on the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey, and it's been really frigid here. I'm also curious to know, what are your picks? Leave a comment down below, and also please like this video. So let's get it started. I have a collection of over 1,000 fragrances, so as you can imagine, it was really difficult for me to compile this list. I'm looking at them all around me, and there are a lot of really great fragrances that could have potentially made this list, but this list is true to form. One of the ways that you'll know this is there are a lot of repeats from my list last year, so if you see a fragrance that also made it to last year's list, I think that's just indicative of the fact that I've been wearing it. Anyways, let's get it started. Number 10 on my list is a tobacco-based fragrance. You've been hearing a lot of talk about it recently. It's from the company 1821 Man-Made, and the fragrance itself is called Sweet Tobacco Spirits. It's exactly as the name implies. It's sweet, it's tobacco, it's a little boozy too. I love it for that reason, and I reach for this one when I have a sweet tooth. So when I'm craving something that's a little bit sweeter, this one does things really well. And then number 9 on my list is actually a fragrance that I was wearing when I proposed to my wife. It's crazy to think that now we've been married for more than 2 years and we have a kid together. But this fragrance always conjures up those positive memories for me. So for that reason, I always go back to it. The fragrance that I put on my list for number 9 is Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. Now, truth be told, I was wearing the Eau de Toilette when I proposed to her, but it's the same exact smell. It's just a bit more concentrated here, and it actually fixes some of the longevity and projection problems that people have been complaining about. Number 9 on my list, Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. Number 8 on my list is a fragrance that I love wearing, especially to work. I have worn the original to work many times, and since they released the Profumo version, some of you already know what it is. It just added a nice bit of sweetness to the base, and the original is a pretty unique blend. It has like olive leaf and tobacco. Without further ado, number 8 on my list is Armani Code Profumo. Great fragrance. It also made my list last year. It's a perfect staple, especially if you're looking for something to wear in a more professional environment, more professional scenario. So for that reason, I love wearing this one to work, especially right around this time of the year too, because it has a nice touch of sweetness in the base without being gourmand or anything like that. Great fragrance. And the next one on my list is a sweet fragrance. That's actually what this next fragrance has going for it. I remember reviewing it several years ago, giving it a perfect 10 out of 10. In my mind, it still is a perfect fragrance. I consider it a masterpiece. A lot of people complain about the longevity though. Personally, I don't have any qualms with the longevity. It lasts a good amount of time on my skin. And this fragrance by Tom Ford is called Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I know there's been some other variations. The most recent one is Noir Anthracite, which is actually a really good fragrance. I like that one. Some people find it to be a bit too smoky, but this one has a kulfi note, which is a type of ice cream. So it has a dessert vibe. It has some spices in there. Really unique blend. It's unlike a lot of other fragrances that you're seeing on the designer market. And then getting into the next fragrance on my list is also on the sweet side, but it's not exclusively sweet. Actually, it is pretty sweet, but it's not vanilla like this one is. This one is more centered around the note of tonka bean. It's by the company Paco Rabanne, and it's called 1 Million Privé. This is yet another fragrance that made my list last year, and as you can tell, I've been wearing this one a bit. To consider how many fragrances I have, for me to be able to put a dent like this in the bottle, I think suggests that I've been wearing it quite often. But this is a great fragrance. If you like the original 1 Million, but you want something a bit more polished, a bit more rounded out, but still maintaining a good amount of sweetness, definitely look here. So number 5 is a fragrance that has been around for, seems like many years. People in the community have been talking about it left and right. And some people like its successors, some people like its predecessors. It is a flanker, but it does things differently. But it's under the Angel Men name, so some of you already know what it is. This one is Pure Havane. And this is their interpretation on the note of tobacco. It's tobacco, some fruity notes, excellent fragrance, very well done. And of course, it's inspired by Havana, which is in Cuba, and many of you might know about Cuban cigars, so Pure Havane. Number 4 on this list is another fragrance that I purchased the day it came out. So my bottle is the original formulation. Some people as of late have been complaining about reformulations and a fragrance losing its lasting power. But all things considered, it's a great fragrance nonetheless. This one from the house of Victor and Rolf is called Spice Bomb. Pink pepper, cinnamon, touch of sweetness, beautiful fragrance. Number 3 on this list is from a house that makes 2 appearances on this list. And it's a very classy house, has been around for a long time. It's a true house of perfumery. And this is a fragrance that's also been talked about in the community a lot. And it's by the company Guerlain. And this one is called L'Instant de Guerlain Pour Homme au Extreme. Or some people just call it LIDGE, which is the abbreviation. But this fragrance, think patchouli and cocoa. It's classy. It has a touch of sweetness, touch of sophistication. It's a little bit powdery, so if you're not a fan of powdery fragrances, you might want to skip over this one. Some people might be wondering why I have the one that's clear around the perimeter here instead of black and opaque. That's because this is a reformulation, but nonetheless, it still smells great. Getting into my number 2 on this list is yet another fragrance that people have been talking about. The only thing with this one is that it's a bit more polarizing. Some people love it, some people hate it. I fall in the boat of people who love it. And this one by the company Christian Dior, they can do no wrong in my eyes. This one is called Dior Homme Parfum. I think of this velvety iris and smooth leather with a touch of sweetness. You have like that pear ambrette thing that was going on in Dior Homme Intense, except it's amplified here. So it's not as sweet, in my opinion, as Dior Homme Intense, but it has a smoother iris note, and I love it. Dior Homme Parfum. And with that being said, we are now getting into my number 1 pick. But before I announce it, I just have some honorable mentions that I would like to share with my audience. My first honorable mention is by L'Herbolario. It's called Dulce Lesir. This one smells like Ambre Narguilé, or you can even say it smells like Oajan by Parfum de Marly. I bought mine on eBay. It was like 40 or 50 bucks, really great price. And this is a 3.4 ounce bottle. My next honorable mention by Emporio Armani is called Stronger With You. This has that 1 million Tonka Bean, Calvin Klein obsessed type of a vibe. But this one is a bit smoother and it's a bit lighter. The next one on my list, my honorable mentions list, is by Bulgari. It's called Man in Black. If you can try the new one that just came out, the limited edition with the artwork, it's fantastic. I like to wear this one when I'm looking for a darker spice bomb because it's kind of in the same family for me. And the next one on this list that I haven't been wearing a lot, but I still enjoy the smell, is CHEAPIES Privé by Carolina Herrera. It's spicy, but it has a bit of sweetness too. This is a very nice leather jacket, sort of a vibe. And with that being said, let's get into my number 1. My number 1 is a fragrance that I've owned for a couple years now. I wear it all the time, but I especially wear it right around the fall and the winter just because the compositional nature makes it very appropriate. It has a bit of cocoa, it has patchouli, it has some sweet elements, it has an almond note that really gives this fragrance characteristic. It's perfect for a date, it's incredibly versatile, it has a bit of sensuality because of the gourmand elements, and I personally love this one. My wife loves this one as well. Again, links for purchase are going to be down below, but this one is one I would highly, highly, highly recommend. Some people have tried the cologne version, some people have tried the eau de parfum. This is the original. And without further ado, it's by Guerlain, once again, and this one is called L'Homme Ideal. On the back, it kind of looks like a QRC code. I think that's pretty cool. But L'Homme Ideal, Eau de Toilette, this is a phenomenal fragrance with the patchouli and the cocoa and the almond, a bit of vanilla. The woods are so smooth in this. One of my favorite fragrances of all time. It even made my list last year. And it just goes to show you that I love this. And I put quite a dent in this. So that's a testament as to the frequency with which I wear it. But all things considered, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning into my channel, watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. Now, I know I was one of the last reviewers to put out this list. I'm a little bit late to the party, but you know, I've really been mulling it over in my mind, and these are fragrances that I absolutely love. So I'm so happy to finally have the opportunity to share with you guys. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Also, please don't forget to like this video. And again, leave a comment down below. Which ones do you prefer? Are you more into the gourmands? Are you into the spicy fragrances, the woodsy, the sweet? I want to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please click the link down below in the description if you're interested in seeing my niche list. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.